We know that sometimes you've got to say something with a little extra volume, with a little extra oomph. You want to bring the heat, and we want to hear it. This is your chance to bring us your hot takes. It's the Flamethrower, presented by the DQs of Northwest Edmonton and Sherwood Park. That's Palisades, Namao, Newcastle, Westmount, and Baseline Road. This one from Alexandra, who says, to the eco-warrior who confronted me at the dog park because I left my vehicle running for 15 minutes in minus 35. Newsflash, I am not an environmental criminal. I do my part to help the planet, but apparently that didn't matter to this eco-officer. I reduce, reuse, and recycle, and I carpool when I can. We had solar panels installed a couple of years ago. I take a reusable glass water bottle to work, and I do what I can to keep things out of the landfill. But for heaven's sake, when it's freezing, frigid cold, and I'm just trying to keep my dog warm and my car from dying for a few minutes, I do not need your lecture. I'm not the problem here. I'm part of the solution. So instead of judging me for a brief, idle moment, I like what you did there, Alexandra, says, maybe focus on bigger issues, or maybe just your own life, and let me take care of my furry friend without the guilt trip. I'm doing my best, and I don't need your unsolicited opinions. That from Alexandra. What about this one from Larry, who heard me talking to Mo Amir the other day on the show about mushrooms, and Larry wrote in, and I didn't want you to think that we missed it, Larry, who says, thanks a lot, Jespo, for giving your endorsement for such an array of substances, we're talking about mushrooms, substances, attitudes, lifestyles, and practices that can easily create devastating results, dependencies, harm, death, and a fuck it, you only live once attitude. That from Larry. Larry, practice whatever you practice responsibly. Everything is not for everybody, and I appreciate your opinion. And how about this one from Garth? Garth has been a bit of a regular, and he knows it in Trash Talk and in Flamethrower as well. Garth's name has popped up over the first 3 years of this show, and he seems to light a fire under the rest of you because you've been responding. And Garth gets what's going on. He says, Jespo, I dislike transforming your esteemed talk show, thanks G-Money, into a tit for tat, but you must permit me to address the criticism directed at me. Remember this? Garth was talking about net zero and renewables and talking about all the hate that he gets for working in oil and gas and says that he deserves more respect. He says messages of mine have been featured on Real Talk, and it appears that people view me as some sort of oil-drunken hillbilly, which is not accurate at all. Garth says, I genuinely believe in and have proudly invested in a solar system for my home. I possess training and extensive experience in high-output wind systems. Garth says, to Cam and Steven, whose emails about me were read on the show over the past week, I assert that energy companies are not averse to investing in new projects, but bureaucratic red tape and a government that opposes oil and gas impedes new oil projects with measures like Bill C-69, there it is, and financial institutions like HSBC denying capital for oil sands projects. He says the frontier mine fell victim to a hypocritical federal government making investment in oil and gas unattractive under these circumstances. And regarding Las Vegas, because one of you stepped up when Garth said, show me a municipality that can power itself off renewables, and then someone wrote in and said Las Vegas is. He says information about how power is generated and what fuels it remains elusive. The only available info is from the same Google search that Steven copied his entire message from verbatim. In conclusion, says Garth, given my qualifications, my experience, and my skills, I'm confident in thriving and earning well in an honest, renewable energy economy. I'm not afraid that my paychecks will dwindle with oil and gas, but I emphasize that our approach to renewables is metaphorically detrimental, cutting off our nose to spite our face. He says, I'd like to propose another challenge. What about the Prime Minister and his Environment Minister converting their ridings to 100% renewables 24/7 until after the next election? That's from Garth, who fired up his flamethrower to talk at ryanjesperson.com. We'd love for you to do the same. It can be about dog park stuff, traffic circle stuff, politics, or the rest of life, and it's all proudly presented by the DQs of Northwest Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Stay safe out there, friends. Thanks for doing what you do to support Real Talk. Our next episode is coming up on January 15th. We'll see you then.